Don't cry to quit. Cry because you're giving everything you've got left. There are moments in life when the weight feels unbearable, when every step forward feels like dragging yourself through fire and the world around you doesn't see the battle you're fighting. You cry not because you're weak, but because you've reached the edge of your strength. And yet deep inside, something still whispers, keep going. You cry not to surrender, but to release the pain so you can stand again, taller than before. Because those tears, they are not signs of defeat. They are the evidence that you're still in the fight. Every tear you shed while chasing your dream is a seed of perseverance. You can't build strength in comfort. Strength is built when you keep pushing while you're breaking inside, when your mind screams, stop, but your heart refuses to let go. People see success and they celebrate it, but they never see the sleepless nights, the rejections, the loneliness, the self-doubt that tries to suffocate your vision. They don't see the days when you question your worth, when you stare at yourself in the mirror and wonder if you're ever going to make it. They don't see the sacrifices you've made, the moments you could have given up but didn't. That's why when you cry, don't cry because it's over. Cry because you're giving everything you have left in your soul to make something extraordinary happen. There's power in your pain. Every tear carries a story. Every ache has a reason. The struggle you're facing right now is not punishment. It's preparation. Life will test you not to destroy you, but to discover what's inside you. You'll never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. And sometimes life will push you so hard that all you can do is cry. But when those tears fall, let them remind you that you're still alive, still fighting, still believing. You're still chasing something bigger than your excuses. Because champions are not made in victory. They are shaped in struggle. You have to understand that crying doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. It means you care deeply enough to hurt, to break, to feel. And those who feel deeply also rise deeply. When you cry through the grind, through the long nights and the lonely mornings, through the failures that sting and the doors that close in your face, you are building the emotional muscle that most people run away from. You are training your spirit to endure, to rise, to conquer. Because every single person who ever achieved greatness has cried. They cried through rejection letters, through losses, through heartbreaks, through failures that shattered their confidence. But they never cried to quit. They cried to keep going. You will have days when your dream feels impossible, when you feel invisible, when it seems like no one believes in you. You'll feel tired, drained, and broken, and that's okay. But even when you're exhausted, even when you feel you've given all you can, give a little more. Because sometimes that little more is what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. You're closer than you think. You've come too far to give up now. The same pain that's breaking you is also molding you. The same tears that fall from your eyes are watering your purpose. You may not see it yet, but everything you're going through is aligning you with the person you were born to be. There will be moments When people won't understand your grind, they'll see your struggle and call it foolish. They'll say, "Why don't you just stop?" But they don't know what burns inside you. They don't know the fire that keeps you moving when everything around you tells you to quit. That fire is your dream. That fire is your reason. That fire is what makes you cry, not out of weakness, but out of hunger. Because deep down, you know you were made for more. You know your pain has a purpose. And you know you cannot stop now. Every successful person you admire has cried through their journey. They cried when no one believed, when nothing worked, when all they had was faith. They cried when life seemed unfair, when the world said no, but their heart said yes. And through those tears, they found strength. Through that pain, they found power. Through that darkness, they found light. Because tears have a way of washing away the doubt and fear and making space for courage. You might not see the victory yet, but the moment you choose to cry through it instead of quitting because of it, that's the moment you win. So cry, but don't cry to stop. Cry to push forward. Cry to fight harder. Cry to prove to yourself that you still have something left. Because real strength isn't about smiling when it's easy. It's about showing up when it hurts. It's about standing tall when your legs are shaking. It's about believing when everything around you says it's over. You owe it to yourself to finish what you started. You owe it to yourself to see what happens if you don't give up. You owe it to yourself to turn your pain into power. The truth is, your tears are sacred. They represent the moments you refuse to surrender. They represent every time you chose courage over comfort, faith over fear, and growth over giving up. Don't hide them. Let them remind you how far you've come. Because when you look back one day, you'll realize those tears were not signs of weakness. They were symbols of strength. You were not crying to escape. You were crying to evolve. You were crying to transform your struggle into something beautiful. You were crying because deep down, you knew that quitting was not an option. So keep going, even when it hurts. Keep fighting, even when no one claps for you. Keep believing, even when the results don't show. Because the moment you decide that your tears are fuel and not failure, that's the moment you step into your power. You may fall, you may stumble, you may cry, but as long as you don't stop, you are still winning. Remember, the strongest souls are not the ones who never break. They are the ones who break, heal, and rise again. Don't cry to quit. Cry because you're still in the fight. Cry because your dream means more to you than your comfort. Cry because your heart refuses to surrender. And when the tears dry, stand up and keep going. Because your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of your pain. Don't cry to quit. Cry because you're given everything you've got left. There comes a moment in every fighter's life when the weight of the journey feels like too much to carry. When the heart is heavy, the spirit feels worn, and the world seems to be testing every ounce of faith inside you. You've been pushing, grinding, sacrificing, and yet the results still seem far away. It's in those moments, when tears start to fall, that life gives you a choice. You can cry to give up, or you can cry to keep going. One choice ends the story. The other creates a legacy. The pain that makes you cry is not meant to stop you. It's meant to strengthen you. You have to understand that those tears are not weakness. They are a release of the strength that's been trapped inside you. You cry because it hurts, because it's hard, because sometimes you don't know how much more you can take. But even through the tears, there's a small voice that refuses to be silent, that whispers, keep fighting, keep believing, keep pushing forward. You cry because you've given your all, because you've poured your soul into something that matters, because you refuse to accept mediocrity as your destiny. Those tears mean that you're still in the game, still chasing the dream, still standing in the fight, when so many others have already walked away. You're not crying to surrender. You're crying to survive, to become, to transform. You see, success doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes dressed in pain, wrapped in struggle, delivered through sleepless nights, broken hearts, and relentless faith. The people who make it to the top are not the ones who never cried. They are the ones who cried, wiped their tears, and kept moving. They're the ones who didn't let pain define them, who used every tear as fuel to rise higher. The road to success is soaked with the tears of those who refuse to quit. Every tear is a step toward greatness. Every heartbreak a lesson. Every failure a foundation for strength. When you cry through the grind, you're learning to endure. You're building character, patience, resilience. You're learning that real growth happens not when life is easy, but when life is hard. You're discovering that crying doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It means you care. It means you feel. It means you still believe. You wouldn't cry if it didn't matter to you. You wouldn't cry if the dream wasn't worth fighting for. Those tears are proof that your heart is still in the game, that your soul is still fighting for something your eyes can't yet see. The truth is, nobody sees the private battles you fight. They don't see the nights you stare at the ceiling wondering if you're enough. They don't see the times you've smiled in public while falling apart inside. They don't see how many times you've wanted to quit but didn't. They don't understand the cost of chasing a vision. But that's okay, because it's not their journey, it's yours. And every time you cry and still choose to keep going, you're proving that you're stronger than your pain. You're showing that your spirit can't be broken by circumstances. You're showing that even though you're hurting, you're still hungry. Pain is the birthplace of power. Every tear that falls carves a new level of strength inside you. Every disappointment is a lesson that sharpens your focus. Every setback builds the foundation for a greater comeback. You may not see it right now, but one day you'll look back and realize that your tears were not wasted. They were watering your future. They were cleansing your doubt. They were shaping the version of you that can handle what you've been praying for. Because success doesn't come to those who run from pain. It comes to those who face it, feel it, and still move through it. Don't cry to quit. Cry because you're giving everything you've got left. You're not at the end. You're just at the edge of your breakthrough. When you feel like you can't go any further, that's when life is testing if you really want it. That's when most people give up, but not you. You didn't come this far to stop. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to walk away now. You've sacrificed too much, endured too much, fought too hard. You may be tired, but you're not done. You may be broken, but you're still breathing. You may be crying, but those tears mean you still care enough to fight. Every dreamer cries on the journey. Every champion has moments of doubt, moments of fear, moments of exhaustion. But they don't let those moments define them. They use them. They let their tears remind them why they started, who they are, and what they're capable of. When the pain gets heavy, remember that it's shaping you for something bigger. Remember that every tear you shed in silence is building a story that will inspire others. Remember that the struggle you're in today is preparing the strength you'll need for tomorrow. There's beauty in your struggle, power in your pain, purpose in your tears. You may not see it yet, but one day it will all make sense. The tears you cry today will one day become the reason someone else keeps going. The pain you endure now will become the story that proves that nothing can stop a determined soul. So don't hide your tears. Let them fall. Let them cleanse. Let them heal. Let them remind you that you're still alive, still fighting, still reaching for something extraordinary. You're not crying to escape the pain. You're crying because you're embracing it, because you're transforming through it. There will be days when you'll want to quit, when your mind says stop, but your heart says one more try. Listen to your heart. Let it guide you through the storm. The moment you choose to cry and keep going, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Because quitting doesn't end the pain. It only ends the possibility. If you give up now, all the pain you've been through becomes meaningless. But if you keep going, every tear becomes part of your victory. Every struggle becomes part of your strength. Every scar becomes proof that you didn't back down. So, when you cry, don't cry because you're broken. Cry because you're building. Cry because you're fighting for something most people would have walked away from. Cry because your vision is bigger than your fear. Cry because you know that one day, the tears you shed will become the tears of triumph. You've got more inside you than you realize. More strength, more courage, more heart. You just have to keep digging, keep pushing, keep believing even when you're tired. Because the moment you decide that your tears are fuel, not failure, you take back your power. The pain doesn't control you. You control how you respond to it. You were never meant to quit. You were built to endure. You were made to rise. So cry, but cry for the right reason. Cry because you're giving your all. Cry because you're still in the ring, still swinging, still believing in what the world can't yet see. Cry because you've come too far to stop now. Don't cry to quit. Cry because you're giving everything you've got left. Success isn't built on comfort. It's born from the moments you refuse to surrender. The truth is, comfort never created champions. Ease never shaped greatness. You can't grow in a place that keeps you safe, because safety breeds stagnation. Every person who has ever accomplished something extraordinary had to step outside the circle of comfort and walk into the fire of uncertainty. It's in that fire that strength is forged. It's in those moments when life feels unbearable that you discover who you really are. Success isn't about talent alone. It's about endurance, about resilience, about that inner voice that says, I will not stop here. I will not surrender. There comes a time when everything in you screams to give up, when your mind says it's not worth it, when the results are slow and the pain is fast. You feel like you've done all you can, and yet the world seems silent. That's the moment when most people walk away. That's the moment when the comfortable give up. But those who succeed, they dig deeper. They find strength in the struggle, power in the pain, and meaning in the moments that break them. Because comfort doesn't build character, resistance does. Growth is uncomfortable, progress is painful. But both are necessary if you want to create something that lasts. When you're chasing success, you will face rejection, failure, and loneliness. You will have to do things that others won't to live a life that others can't. You will have to sacrifice sleep, comfort, and sometimes even the approval of others. People will not always understand your grind. They'll call you crazy for believing in something they can't see. They'll doubt you, question you, laugh at you. But you can't let their disbelief stop you, because success doesn't come to the ones who wait for permission. It comes to the ones who decide they will not surrender, no matter how hard it gets. There will be days when you'll wake up tired, when you'll wonder if it's worth it, when quitting seems like the easiest option. And that's when you have to remind yourself that comfort is the enemy of greatness. Every time you choose comfort, you choose delay. Every time you choose ease, you trade growth for stagnation. The pain you feel when you push through your limits is the very thing that separates the winners from the watchers. The comfortable stay where they are, but the committed move forward even when it hurts. They understand that success is not a destination. It's a process. A process of falling and getting back up, of failing and trying again, of fighting when you have nothing left to give. Comfort whispers to you, it's okay to stop here, you've done enough. But that's a lie. Because success demands more. It demands discipline when motivation is gone. It demands action when fear is loud. It demands belief when nothing seems to be working. You cannot achieve greatness while clinging to comfort. You must be willing to let go of what feels easy, to reach what feels impossible. The road to success will break you before it builds you. It will humble before it honors you. It will test your patience, your faith, your endurance. But if you refuse to surrender, if you keep walking through the storm, you'll come out stronger than you've ever been. Every struggle you face is a tool shaping your destiny. Every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. Success is not born in the moments when everything goes right. It's born in the moments when everything goes wrong, and you still choose to keep going. It's born in the nights when you're exhausted, but still show up. It's born in the mornings when you don't feel like trying, but you do it anyway. It's born in those dark hours when no one is watching, no one is cheering, no one believes, but you still keep moving forward. That's where success lies. In the unseen, uncelebrated grind. People want the glory without the grind, the reward without the risk, the victory without the fight. But it doesn't work like that. Every mountain you climb will demand a piece of you. Every dream you chase will require sacrifice. The question is, how much are you willing to give? How much are you willing to endure? Because comfort won't get you there. Comfort will tell you to stop, to rest, to play it safe. But comfort doesn't care about your dreams. Comfort doesn't care about your potential. Comfort only wants to keep you the same. If you want success, you have to be willing to walk away from comfort. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable with growth, uncomfortable with failure, uncomfortable with becoming who you're meant to be. You will have to go through seasons of silence, seasons of pain, seasons of doubt. But remember this, every great story was written in the dark. Every successful person was once in a place where nothing seemed to work. They faced fear, doubt, loss, and rejection. But they refused to surrender. They refused to let pain dictate their destiny. They used their struggle as fuel. They kept moving when comfort said stop. They kept believing when logic said quit. And because they refused to surrender, they became unstoppable. When you look at people who've achieved greatness, understand this. They didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they pushed when they wanted to rest. They endured when they wanted to escape. They took the hits and kept standing. They fell and got back up over and over again. Every battle they fought in private built the strength they displayed in public. Every uncomfortable choice shaped their success. That's why you can't envy someone's success without understanding their struggle. Behind every victory is a story of perseverance. Behind every success is 1,000 moments of pain and pressure. Comfort never changed anyone's life. Comfort keeps dreams small. Comfort kills ambition. But struggle reveals your true power. The nights you spend working when everyone else is sleeping. The times you show up when no one notices. The sacrifices you make that no one appreciates. Those are the building blocks of greatness. Those are the moments that define your future. You might not feel the progress now, but every time you push through the pain, you're moving closer. Every time you refuse to surrender, you're proving to life that you deserve what you're chasing. There's nothing easy about becoming successful. You'll be tested beyond your limits. You'll be stretched beyond your comfort zone. You'll question yourself, doubt yourself, and sometimes even lose yourself. But if you hold on, if you keep walking through the fire, that same fire will refine you. It will burn away the fear, the weakness, the excuses. It will leave behind the version of you that can handle success, that can carry the weight of greatness. So when life hits you, when things fall apart, when the journey feels impossible, remind yourself that this is what growth looks like. This is what success feels like before it happens. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be worth it. Every step you take through discomfort brings you closer to who you're meant to become. Every time you refuse to surrender, you rewrite your story. Because success isn't built on comfort. It's born from the moments you refuse to surrender. Every tear is proof that you're still fighting for something that matters. When life pushes you to your knees, when everything you've worked for seems to slip through your hands, those tears that fall are not signs of weakness. They are signs of life, signs of passion, signs that your heart still believes even when your circumstances don't. You don't cry for what's meaningless. You cry for what has value. You cry for what touches your soul, for what you've poured yourself into, for the dreams that refuse to die, even when reality tries to crush them. Every tear that falls is a silent scream saying, I still care, I still want this, I'm still in the fight. There's something powerful about a person who keeps fighting while crying. It means they've reached the breaking point, but refused to break. It means the world has hit them hard, but they still find the courage to stand again. It means they're human enough to feel, but strong enough to keep moving. The world looks at tears as weakness, but tears are strength made visible. Tears are courage made liquid. They are the evidence that you haven't given up, that somewhere inside you still burns the fire of belief. When you care deeply, you hurt deeply, and that's okay, because the things that matter most in life will demand pieces of your heart. You see, life will test you in ways you never expected. It will push you until you question everything. Your purpose, your worth, your strength. You'll have nights where you cry until your chest hurts, days where you feel like your heart is too heavy to carry. But those tears are sacred. They mean you're still connected to the dream. They mean that even in pain, you still have hope. You're not numb. You're not empty. You still believe there's something worth fighting for, even when it hurts. That's power. That's resilience. That's what makes dreamers unstoppable. The road to success isn't lined with victories. It's paved with tears. Tears of frustration, of exhaustion, of disappointment. But each tear holds a message: keep going. Each one carries a story of effort, sacrifice, and persistence. You cannot reach greatness without feeling deeply, without facing moments that break you open. Because it's through those cracks that light enters your spirit. The very moments that make you cry are the moments that shape you, that refine you, that prepare you for what's next. You've got to understand something. Tears are not the end. They are the beginning of healing. They are the release that allows you to keep fighting. When you hold back your pain, when you pretend to be okay while breaking inside, you suffocate your own strength. But when you let the tears fall, when you allow yourself to feel, you clear the space for courage to rise again. It's okay to cry. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel lost. Because the people who succeed are not the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall, cry, and still get back up. Every tear has a purpose. The tears you cry